I'm John Garrity, co-founder of TagUp. I went to MIT undergraduate with my co-founder. We were football teammates. Will is finishing his PhD now at CSAIL, Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. After graduating from MIT, I worked at General Electric for a couple of years in Atlanta in the energy division, and then came to finish my MBA at Harvard Business School. Graduated a little over a year ago, and we are now working on TagUp full-time since then. I studied physics and economics at MIT. Will was physics and mechanical engineering. We were fraternity brothers, and I had a few ideas for a business coming into business school. I didn't know, I thought I wanted to go back to GE. It wasn't until partway through my MBA I decided, you know what, I really want to build a company around this idea. And I thought, you know, I really would like a partner. And Will was the smartest guy I knew, so easy decision. I asked him if he wanted to do it, and he said sure. And so we started the company. We were sort of debating some of the specifics sitting outside the Stata Center at MIT, and went from there. And that was actually a couple of years ago. And we worked on it during my second year in business school. We entered some business plan competitions and did very well. And then upon graduating from my MBA, I started full-time on it. What TagUp does is connect industrial equipment to the internet to provide visibility on the operation of the equipment and other data associated with the equipment to manufacturers, value-added resellers, and the end users of that equipment. Currently, there's no way to simply remotely monitor a diverse number of equipment types, to share that data with third parties. So, for example, if you operate a power plant, you have a variety of different equipment types. Many of them you can monitor remotely, see how they're performing, but it's very difficult to get support from the manufacturer. For the manufacturer, for example, to see how that equipment's performing remotely. An example that a lot of people can relate to is when you fly on a jet airline, the engines often aren't owned by the operator, by the airline. They're leased from the manufacturer, from GE, Rolls-Royce, Pratt & Whitney, and they have a business model called power by the hour, where the airline pays the manufacturer for every hour those engines are running. And the manufacturer will actually monitor the health of those engines in flight. And if there are any issues at all, the manufacturer can identify those issues and send replacement parts or support to the destination of that aircraft to minimize downtime. And that works great for very expensive equipment like a jet engine or a gas turbine. But it's not yet economical for lower value assets. And fundamentally, that's what we enable. We enable that sort of business model for any variety of equipment, down to a $10,000 dissolved gas sensor, for example. So the Boston startup ecosystem has been great for us, an amazing network in multiple ways. So we're based out of Greentown Labs in Somerville. It's an enormous clean tech co-working space, so there's some 50 startups. It actually came out, there were, I think, 4 founding companies. They were all MIT startups, and they were looking for a space. And so this is now the third location they've been, but it's really become quite the ecosystem and network. And so that network has provided us access to customers. We went through an accelerator there, and one of our big accounts was a sponsor of that incubator. It's given us access to talent. We had a really obscure requirement for a customer deployment. We needed an automation engineer working with an old piece of equipment, and so we emailed, the mailing list goes out to a couple hundred people, and sure enough, we got 3 leads for people who knew how to work with that very old piece of equipment. You know, they had to bring their Windows XP laptop to get everything working, but we got it in the end. I'd say, you know, we actually were able to work out of Highland Capital space as well. When we were very much at the back of the napkin stage, they helped us and provided a lot of in-kind support, and that's been excellent. We're in MIT's venture mentoring service as well, and they've acted as an informal board, providing us great advice on business strategy, what we need to do. And otherwise, just some great talent, you know, between our networks at MIT and Harvard and some of the other schools around here. Olin, for example, we've had students from Olin and from BU working on the team. And it's an amazing source of talent in Boston, and we've definitely taken advantage.